Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's talk about chronic complaining. Are you a chronic complainer, or are you around one, in a relationship with one? I think people who complain too much, it's one of my pet peeves. It really bothers me. And I've had friends, I have a couple now, who every single time I see them, they don't ask how I'm doing. They don't care. They're just ready to just unload. Like they see you, all they see is a landfill, and they're that dump truck. They're just backing it up, beep beep beep, just ready to dump their load on you as soon as they see you. Oh, let me tell you. Oh God, and they run into this story and drama and bullshit, and they complain and complain about the most nonsensical stuff. These are the same type of people that, if you ever just happen to care about them and offer a simple solution, which most of these people's problems are simple. And people do have, there is suffering in the world. And some people live torturous, horrible lives. But a lot of people who are chronic complainers really don't. They just make a lot of drama for themselves. They're overly emotional. And if you offer them a solution, they're going to bash it down, smack that solution like they're a professional tennis player. They'll smack that ball across the net as fast and hard as they can right back at you. Tell you reasons why it can't be done, why they can't be helped, why they're just screwed. These are also people that usually have some convoluted, wishy-washy, bullshit-ass story that makes no fucking sense when you try to understand it. Some of them will lash out at you. I've had people, my brother's kind of like this sometimes, and I'll offer a solution, and he'll just be like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." Okay. Then be fucked then. Have fun. I was at the gas station the other day gassing up. This guy was next to me wearing a 1% Club jacket, patched member. I'm not going to say which one because people get all defensive, but this guy, he was with his old lady. They were gassing up next to me at the pump next to me. I was going to say what's up to them. They're from North Carolina, from out of town. And I was just going to be friendly. I was on my bike also. But I overheard their conversation as I was grabbing the pump to put it in my gas tank, and this guy's in just this full rant complaining about multiple things at once. And she's sitting there consoling him. Obviously not really wanting to hear it. That's the vibe I took from her. I didn't want to hear it. I felt like telling him, "Shut the fuck up." It would have probably turned into a gunfight though. But he's sitting there running his mouth, complaining and complaining and complaining to his old lady. And first of all, that's kind of an emasculated role switching position to be in for a man. You shouldn't be complaining to your wife. Be stronger than that. You don't need someone to complain to. If you have anxiety issues and you worry too much, then that's a weakness and you can work on that. But you shouldn't be using other people as your therapist. That's not fair to them. It's a burden to them. It's a real good way to push people away. People will be not real happy to see you because they know you're just going to sit there and bitch and moan. You have this angry, awful life. And, oh, here he comes. And this guy was just complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. The entire time. I pumped up, full gas. I was almost on empty. I hate to get that low on my bike. And I filled that gas tank up. I got a big tank on my Road King. And I rode off. I could hear him over. I'm sitting there revving my engine. I could hear him complaining about his Social Security check, complaining about the fucking gardeners, whatever. It's like, God damn. I have friends like this too. They just complain full time. I mean, I think it's important to offer legitimate help to people who need it. And I enjoy helping people who need it. I feel like sometimes if I have an answer that's easy to me, that's simple to me, you ask me for advice and I'm like, well, here's what I think. And it's just some simple opinion of mine that helps you and you're like, oh God, that was really helpful. I love that shit. That's great. But Being a constant complainer is actually a syndrome. It's a mental illness. And people do this for attention, for validation, for just to hear themselves talk. It's usually people that are too deeply connected with their emotions. And, I've talked about this before, and there's aspects of Stoicism which are a healthy form of detachment. I think every man needs to practice this kind of stuff. Or else you end up some kind of little bitch like that dude at the gas pump. Your chick becomes the man. Your wife will be the masculine one in the relationship. You'll be the feminine one. And stop complaining about your job. Stop complaining about your car. Don't complain about anything you may be worried about. But if you're worried, all that means is that you are having anxiety and that you need to have a plan. You need a plan of attack for every problem. Are you going to put that fire out? How? How do you plan on putting the fire out? You're just going to run over there and yell at it? How are you going to put it out? You need a plan. And you can go over your plan. This is what I do sometimes when I have nervousness or anxiety towards something. I formulate a plan. I have a plan of attack, if not a backup plan, and then a plan A, B, and C, just in case. But I always have my go-to plan, the solid plan that I'm going to work on, that I'm going to be moving forward with for whatever event that's coming up. And sometimes I may overthink. I may go through it over and over and over and over and over again, just to make sure that I got every detail, that I'm not, that can be annoying. I have to stop myself from doing that and just trust that I can handle things. If this doesn't work, I'm smart enough to be able to stay calm in a situation and make a good decision and alter the course. But whatever it is, this will work out. I got this. And I try to trust myself. And that alleviates some of the anxiety. But I don't need the validation from my girlfriend. She doesn't need to pat me on the head and tell me life is going to be okay. I can do that for her. No one needs to do that for me. I think people complain a lot because they have insecurities. Insecurities are confidence issues, lack of confidence. When you have lack of confidence, it means that you have fears in certain areas. I'm afraid of this or that. I'm afraid of this potential outcome. So it just gives you some work to do. When I find that I have weaknesses, it doesn't put me into a defensive mode where I have to overcompensate in some douchebag way, go yell at everybody or boss people around or flex my muscles because I'm mentally weak. I just know that, okay, this goes on my plate as stuff to do. I have my list of things that I need to work on. Just like when you have a project. I got lots of projects. I got a motorcycle shop full of projects. And I have lists. I write this shit down. What do I got to do on that Triumph? I got a list, a 2-page list. And I just put shit on my list and I get to it. And that gives me confidence as long as I'm working towards strength. I have confidence in knowing that I'm doing the best I can. I do think that if people can take a conscious look at themselves, a humble look at themselves, and be conscientious and be able to see their own behavior and notice, okay, maybe I am complaining too much to the people around me, to my kids, to my wife, to my boss, to my friends. Maybe I am complaining too much. Maybe life is hard right now for me. I'm kind of in over my head right now, and I'm just worried about a lot of things. Well, you can get on top of those things. And this may be you have to swim harder to get past those waves. But there's times in our life when we have to swim harder. You got to stop ourselves from complaining because you go down this rabbit hole of negativity and fear and weakness. That's a bottomless pit. That's an abyss. Don't dive off of that every time you're questioning of what's going to happen. You want to stop that and replace it with positivity, motivation, and take control of that self-talk. Even in the worst of times, the craziest shit could be going on around you. It could feel like not only your life, but the whole world is falling apart. You still want to be able to be strong enough to move forward every day on your path, stay disciplined every day on your path, but also be able to help others. You can't help others if you're too busy carrying this imaginary load of weighted emotions towards future events that haven't happened yet, towards past experiences that are just water under the bridge. Let go of some of that, because you're going to need room in your truck to help people out. It's all just food for thought. Thanks for watching.